Fashionista, fashionista, fashionista. I'll come take a picture.
What's good, family? Okay, anyway, what's happening, people? How you doing? Welcome back to Unique Sessions. I'm Unique Creation. Welcome. And what I want to talk to you about today is, actually, I was thinking about it while walking. Like, you know, where there's a lot of things happening in life, there's a lot of things you need to do, there's a lot of things you need to achieve, but at the same time, you can't forget what the people that are important to you. And sometimes things happen in life, in your family, friends' life, and so on and so forth, and you want to help them, but they're in situations where you feel powerless, whether it's a financial situation, whether you don't have the know-how or you're not in the right place to hold them up yourself, and you can feel powerless and you feel their pain. And I was thinking, I was kicking myself actually a little bit, like, man, you can't even help. What kind of friend are you? What kind of this are you? You can't even help this person in this situation, so on and so forth. And it reminded me of something that I learned a long time ago, and that's in regards to starting with yourself. You can't help anyone in a situation if you can't help yourself in that situation. So it's so important to start with yourself. I'm talking about building yourself up, learning from others, and not trying to be others. It's so important to start with yourself, because that's how you can really start knowing yourself. We all think we know ourselves to a certain extent, till a situation that we don't expect comes along, and then we react in a way that makes us wonder, like, wow, like, I can't believe that was me. That's happened to me a few times, where situations happen, and I just started wondering, like, wow, is that me? I can't believe I did that. You can hear more about that on my song, Me Versus Me. It's out now on my Dark Season EP. It's everywhere. It's on social media. It's on Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, you name it, it's there. Me Versus Me by Unique Creation. Check it out. I learned a lot about myself, and that's why I wrote that song, because it really started teaching me that I don't know myself as much as I think I know myself. Because if I really truly know myself 100%, then I shouldn't be surprised when I react in certain ways, should I? No. So life is a learning process, and it's also it's a learning process for everybody, including you. So when I say start with yourself, I mean really start analyzing yourself. Start looking at yourself and how you are in the situations that you're in. Because when you start doing that, you start understanding your yeses and your nos, what's good for you, what's bad for you, even down to the things you eat and how you live. I have a terrible eating habit. I eat everything. I need to change that, because it's having like backlash effects. But anyways, that's another episode. But really and truly, the reason I'm bringing this up is, one, I didn't pay attention in school, and to be honest, based on the type of lifestyle you want, you have to be careful about what education you put your time into, because time, once you lose, you don't get it back. So when you start understanding yourself, that's when you can start analyzing where you want to be in life, what you want to do. And the more you build yourself up, the more you're in a strong position. The stronger you are, the broader your shoulders become. The more you learn, the more you stretch yourself in things you want to do, the more you can deal with, which means the more people you can lift up. For example, like, imagine when you're pushing weights, right? When you go to the gym, you start with a certain type of weight. And as you keep going, you keep training yourself, you keep lifting more, you keep lifting more, and you keep training your body to be able to deal with more endurance, more strength, more longevity, and so on and so forth. It's the same with starting with yourself. When you start with yourself, you start analyzing what you need to do to improve, especially in the direction you're going. So that way, when situations come up, when you're in a certain position, you can help certain people with certain things. And the more you build yourself up, the more you keep analyzing yourself and going, the more you learn about yourself, and the more you can put yourself in situations where you bless others. As a Christian, one of the top 2 commandments is loving your neighbor as yourself. That is one of the top 2 commandments. It even goes on to say that paraphrasing once again, this ain't word for word, but all the words of the prophets or something like that rely on this. So the whole of scripture relies on those top 2. The first one is loving God with all your heart, all your soul, and so on, which is deep. It's a journey in itself. But the second is loving your neighbors as yourself. And the more you learn about yourself, the more you build yourself, the better you are. The more you improve and refine yourself and discipline yourself, the more you're in a better place to help others and love others. It's so important. So when I say start with yourself, I'm not saying it's me before everybody else. I'm saying start analyzing yourself, start looking at yourself, and start working with yourself and building yourself up. It's so important. Work with yourself. Get yourself there. Because the more you're in a better place, the more you're a blessing to the people around you. Trust me. I'm talking about financially. I'm talking spiritually. I'm talking emotionally. I'm talking when it comes to encouragement. If you're that person that has the right perspective at hard times, people are going to come to you for encouragement and direction. Your friends will need you. People will look to you. And if you have friends and family and people you care about, then you're going to need to build yourself up for their sake and not just yourself. So when I say start with yourself, put yourself in a position to put yourself in a good place as future comes. Yeah? Let yourself 5 years in the future, thank yourself 5 years in the past. Yes, family. That's it. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm Unique Creation. See you at the next one.
Are you a temple or a bando? Banger or a Lambo? A pair of dead kicks or a sandal? I walk around town with a mantle, light so bright that it's easy to hate. Let our actions speak, we're not even that bait. Finally